Right now, the message should be clearly, let us see this report. We need an interpretation by Attorney General who is appointed for a particular job to make sure the president is above the law. We need to see the report. So that's my message to our members.
I don't know what's in the report. Nobody does. That it is absolutely imperative that the Trump administration make that report public as soon as possible.
Attorney General Barr must not give President Trump, his lawyers, or his staff any sneak preview of Special Counsel Mueller's findings or evidence. And the White House must not be allowed to interfere in decisions about what parts of those findings or evidence should be made public.
The American public deserves transparency and accountability, and the Mueller report must be made public for a full accounting of what happened.
I'm worried about whether or not the Attorney General is going to be as transparent as he could be. Trump supporters will take this opportunity to try and say that there's been no problems, there's been no collusion, there's been no obstruction of justice.
We're saying this is something that should be released to the American public, considered about resources and money, and just for the sanctity of the judicial system. There's a lot of suspect right now to show that this process was fair and transparent. This is a really important step in that process, and there's a lot of us, myself included, who don't want to draw conclusions yet until we've actually seen and read the report.
This is likely to be a big fight here. Democrats are now upping the pressure, demanding that the full report be released by next week, or else they are likely to subpoena.
With respect to obstruction of justice, Mueller basically couldn't decide. He said he laid out the evidence on both sides. Now, Barr then takes it on himself and inserts himself into the process and says, oh, I'll decide. Now, it's not at all clear that Mueller wanted that result. Indeed, if Mueller thought that the Attorney General should decide this matter, I suspect that would be in the report and be one of the very first things Barr would have quoted.
Right now, the message should be clearly, let us see this report.
It's astonishing to watch as the Democrats turn their lonely eyes from Robert Mueller, who was supposed to be the deus ex machina who stopped President Trump, to the Southern District of New York. They're doing that in real time. They're claiming that maybe, just maybe, once the entire report is released, then it will tell us something different from the fact that there are no indictments, as we now know. It's never about media malfeasance for 2 years, suggesting beyond the evidence at hand that President Trump was responsible for deep, dark collusion with Russia that ended with Hillary Clinton losing the election.